penalties, the offences on late submission is under Section 62 of the Public Conduct Act, and subsection 1 it reads that a person shall not, and then paragraphs B and C, without justification, fail to provide information required under this Act, and without justification, fail to provide information within reasonable time that is required under this Act, and subsection 2, the penalty, a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to both. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, I think you have heard, and that is one of the issues that Senator Cherengei had pointed out, that in our recommendation we can sanction you, and not just for your membership of ISPAC, but also we can invoke Section 62 of the Public Conduct Act. So that one committee is going to look at it at the report writing stage to make a decision on that. But I also want to say that, we have realized that why we have these simple errors is because the senior accountants do not actually prepare the financial statement. The people who prepare the financial statement are junior accountants who are not even members of ISPAC. And then because it is a requirement that ISPAC member signs, they give it to you and you sign without verifying the contents of the report. And that's why we get in here. So, Mr. Kemboi, are you the one who prepared the financial statements? Yes, sir. Use the mic.
Yes, sir. I'm the one who did the...
You need to tell us the truth, because the truth will set you free.
It is me, sir.
Because if such a matter is reported to ISPAC with your high qualification and training, you will be asked the same question and you will not be able to defend yourself well. So you are on record that you are the one who prepared the financial statement.
I participated, sir.
Members
Chair, can I ask a question? CPA through the chair, and I think in future, Chair, in this committee, with tremendous respect, when you have a senior officer of the county, they should take an oath, because when you will be writing to the ISPAC, you can attach the answer and they have taken an oath so that they don't lie. It's a fact that most of these are prepared by junior accountants. So CPA Julius Kemboi, how long have you been serving in Nandi County and how long have you been practicing?
I was there before, even before the devolution. I was at the municipality and then transferred to the Department of Government.
So how long have you been an accountant? Your professional life?
For almost around 20 years, but now being fully registered with the ISPAC is around 5 years, around 5 years.
So your initial training was not accounts through the chair?
It was accounts.
So 5 years ago, but you are still committing errors. Chair, I think as I yield the ground, we can rest that there and leave to the wisdom of the committee to consider what the witnesses are submitted on record. Thank you.
Okay, so I think the committee will make a decision on that matter, maybe at the report writing stage. We want to encourage the accountants to do their work very professionally and not what we are seeing, where we have a lot of errors in financial statements. Sometimes we may have the devil hiding in the errors. Yeah, so that's why we should discourage that issue of accounting errors and misstatements and inaccuracies. So I hope, Governor, you will help us by, as your CC has said, to strengthen your accounting team so that moving forward, we do not have this kind of errors appearing. But that does not mean that we are not going to make a decision on that matter. As a committee, we will, so that the matter of late submission of document and the matter of accounting errors are fully addressed. Any other issue, members, on that? So, Auditor, how are you hoping to deal with this issue moving forward in terms of correction of errors?
Chair, we are working on the 2024-25 reports. I hope that, I believe that they have addressed those issues in this report we are auditing.
Mark?
Maybe mine as a recommendation the committee can make is that the client in future, in compliance with the Audit Act, is able to respond to these issues at the time of audit, especially when responding to the ML, so that these issues don't escalate to the certificate stage. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I think we are also going to keenly watch the financial report for 2024-2025. And by the way, you have only how many days? By 31st. The financial statements for 2024-2025 should have been submitted to OH. With the changes. Have you received?
Chair, we have received these financial statements and the team is on the ground auditing.
Okay, so we will, I think the clerk, you need to note the linkage of 2023-2024 to 2024-2025. Query number 2, recognition of cash expenses in accrual-based reporting framework. Again, this is similar accounting issue, but anyway, Auditor, proceed and read the query.
Thank you, Chair. The fund reports transactions in financial statements in a accrual-based reporting framework. However, review of transactions revealed that expenses were recognized on cash basis. During the year under review, the fund presented these financial statements on an accrual basis. Recognition of expenses incurred contradicts the accrual-based reporting framework adopted by the fund. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Honorable Chair, at the close of the financial year, all the expenditure by the fund had been paid. There were therefore no accrued expenses that required disclosure in the financial statements. The principles of accrual accounting have been applied to the extent applicable in the rest of the disclosures in these financial statements. Thank you, sir.
Auditor, what is your comments on the management response?
Of course, Chair, that's a valid response for the lack of accrued expenses at the year end. This explanation at least addresses the audit query, as an entity with no outstanding payables at the reporting dates could not have accruals to report. Therefore, Chair, in our consideration, at least it was addressed.
Any comments or query?
Is this the last query we are discussing? Or is there another query?
On
This is the last one, on this particular one.
Then there will be another issue, which is not a query, but
That's the one.
legal issue.
But that's the one I wanted to raise. So maybe
Okay, proceed.
I proceed. Thank you, Chair. At least I can revisit the earlier one by just maybe advising the accountant that these are errors. When you are in good standing and you're active, you should not embarrass the governor because of small issues. And you have time with the auditors to resolve those particular issues so that it doesn't reach our level. Secondly, Chair, I wanted to find out from the governor, because this particular fund is
it is under their own law. And there is a law that we passed last year, the FIF, that says that each of the hospitals should have its own fund. And the chair was, during the preliminaries, we were saying, suppose you have 20 or 30 or so level 4 and level 5 hospitals, how practical is it to have that number of funds instead of consolidating? You know, now that we have seen Nandi have one, maybe we wanted to find out from the governor, how do you see what you are running currently, where you have one fund under all your hospitals, and what has been passed as a national law? So is there a conversation that you've started as a Council of Governors on the same?
Maybe governors will prepare to answer that question. You know, now auditors are now processing audit report for each individual hospital as an entity, as an accounting entity. So or maybe you can explain to us how you bearing that in mind, because the idea about auditing each hospital as an independent entity is that all the revenues will be recognized in that hospital as such. So now, how are you going to run this FIF, county FIF, with the new arrangement of the law, and also what the auditor is doing by auditing each individual hospital?
Chair, you will remember that when Parliament was considering this national FIF law, one of the concerns that we had raised as Council of Governors then was that counties already, and I think we were over 30 counties already that had FIF, county FIF laws. And therefore we had raised this matter, but once you as a parliament took a decision, it is the responsibility of we in counties to just comply with the decision, and therefore we are in the process of amending our own FIF laws to agree with the national legislation that we passed. However, we think that that there is no harm operating in the same manner as prescribed by the FIF national legislation, because every entity is being audited on its own. They are able to generate their own resources, and they are able to plow the same resources or budget the same resources and expend at the facility. So for us, really, whereas the current county, the Nandi County FIF law is one law for the county referral hospital and all the level 4, we think that the approach or the law that was passed by this house is practical, and that is exactly we are transiting to implement. And in any case, as you indicated, the OAG are auditing each entity on their own, so it makes a lot of sense for us. So we are actually sort of transitioning and operating within the national legislation that you as Parliament have passed, and it is working. In fact, it is.
Senator Tobiko.
Chair, thank you, Chair. Chair, I think the question by Senator Kisang, if I got it right, I think it's not in terms of the audit, but in terms of service delivery. He was asking if the FIF can be done like collectively, so that any facility that's facing challenges, that is struggling, that is not self-sustaining, can be kind of cushioned by a facility that's doing well. I think that's where he's coming from.
I think it's a bit difficult it would, and I'm just responding this from where I sit now. It's difficult to get resources from one facility and support another facility, because the amount of resources being generated in a facility means that the volume of the patients they are receiving and everything is, it's based on the service delivery they are providing. Some of the facilities that are not able to sustain themselves, it is what we are providing resources in the county budget to support those facilities. So we really want to encourage that every facility that generates, they are able to plow the resources, because it actually means there is demand for those services in those facilities. Then the county budget can just supplement some of those facilities that are not able to run. And in any case, in fact, if you are to be honest, you are unlikely to have a facility that has surplus, because even in a facility that looks like they are doing very well, the county is still paying for the staff, is still paying for the medical, the human resource. Therefore, really, you can't say that there is a facility that is actually generating surplus to give to another facility. We backstop that with the county budget.
Chair, I know this is not a query, but if you allow me, I'll ask the governor. How is the payments from SHA to the hospitals? Are you receiving your payments in time from SHA to the hospital facilities, or are they in arrears?
They are still in arrears, but there is huge improvement from what we had previously. So if you look at what was happening under NHIF and what is happening under SHA, there is marked significant improvement. However, there is still some delay, and it's part of what I think we have also raised with the health committee, that the process of making claims in
that in facilities that I've mentioned from Kapsabet, Nandi, Metete, Kaptuo, Mosoriat, Kabiet, Chepterwai, do they have an automated system of collection of revenue? That will be my number 3. And I hope, Governor, you are noting so that it is easy for you to answer. Let me finish with this, Chair. And I want to look at their documents which they are provided. Chair, this will be my final question, Governor, on the use of goods and services. I find it interesting in your expenses, which are necessary. For example, you in use and goods, that is note number 7 in your financial statements. And I hope your staff are kind enough to show you that is page 19, note number 7 on your financial statements. You did general expenses of 2.1 million. You went ahead and did printing and stationery of 4.5 million. General office expenses, you were 2.1. I hope chair members are noting this. And then you go ahead and do printing and stationery at 4.5 million. Then you go ahead and do computer accessories at 1.2 million. So when you talk about general office expenses, what do you mean? Because for me, and then interesting expenses, Governor, that you have done, you have catering of 3.4 million. So I assume people who take chai and mandazi, with noting that in your financial statement, which belongs to the patients in food and ratios, is 4.6 million. But in catering services, Chair, you are spending 3.4 million, which doesn't add up. So you will give us a justifiable reasoning. Governor, another expenses which I find it unfortunate is the health celebrations. I don't know whether you are celebrating that people in Nandi are health, or what do you mean? And you spend 2.1 million on health celebrations. And then, Chair, that's why I will need convincing, because Governor, I have heard you talking about SHA, the delay in remittances, the sustainability of our hospitals. Chair, and I have noted another thing, Chair, and I hope members will bear with me. Subscription, no, sorry, that is okay. You are spending almost a quarter of water expenses, 800,000. You are spending on airtime, telephone, and communication expenses of 480,000. But water, you are spending it at 800,000. Chair, you now have visited a number of facilities, including the latest at Combe Dispenser, and they have a challenge with water. So all this, Chair, I have tallied, Governor, in your unnecessary expenses, because rental supplies, medical cases, medical laboratory reagents, branding linen, which is understandable, the issue of fuel and oil transport, which is 2.6 million, fuel for production. I'll need clarity, Governor, because that is why this clerical error came, by the way, because you are saying fuel and oil for transport, 2.6 million. Then you say fuel for production, 815,000. So, Chair, I have total unnecessary expenses comes to around 12.8 to 13 million. From general office expenses, catering, health celebrations, printing and stationery, computer accessories, telephone and communication expenses. And I found an interesting thing, Chair. Governor, do you outsource consultant services because you have paid 776,000? Who are these people? Does it mean you have professional? Does it mean Nandi County and your chief officer of health is here? Does it mean Nandi County lacks some of the professionals, and that is why you are outsourcing consultancy services, where you are paying in one financial year 776,000? So, Chair, you can look in unnecessary and unfortunate expenses. It comes to more than 13 million Kenyan shillings, which comes to almost a half, or even almost a half of pharmaceutical supplies of 26 million. That is why the governor has argued that there is delay there is not an availability of drugs, because he's spending it on unnecessary expenses. So my question, Governor, what is the justifiable reasoning of spending these 12 million in health celebrations, in general office expenses, in printing and stationery, in computer accessories, in airtime, in professional consultancy? And McHugh, I will assist by guiding you that when you talk about catering, there is already a provision of food and ratio, which I assume this is one is being supplied to the patients of 4.6. Even if you are to say doctors and nurses are consuming 3.4, they are almost consuming the same as the patients, yet the patients are much more. So that will be my third and final question. Shall I yield the ground?
There are so many questions. I don't know whether, Governor, you are writing down all of them.
But I requested, Chair, if you had, I requested him to write it down.
Chair, yeah. I think, and maybe we just need guidance, analyzing the details of a budget was not an audit query. If we needed those details and the Senator wants those details and the committee
Chair, on point
needs,
of order, on Article 229(4), it says the Parliament shall consider
kindly allow me to talk. You have had your bite. To a forum, come specifically to address ourselves to specific questions and specific issues. Details of analyzing the item by item of the budget, there is a whole process of how a budget is arrived at. It's not a decision of the governor. The budget is not done by the governor. It is done public participation, including the county assembly, and therefore the details of those discussions of this one and this, if then in writing in good time, we can respond so that we can be able to give specific responses to each of those questions. But really, if you look at what we came, the audit queries, we are here to respond. If we allow that kind of questioning, then, I might then require to have a whole team, but also in good time for us to discuss. So I think what the Senator has raised, valid as they are, if you can be able to share with us in writing, we can be able to respond to all those issues. But really, it would be fair that we are able to deal with audit queries as captured and, on the basis of what I was invited to come and respond to, than really to go on, on a mission that, again, I am able to respond on top of my head on those issues. Yet, we have a whole team and a whole process and a procedure how budgets are done. I may even find when a budget is done, even if you have concerns as a governor that maybe this should have been, that is why it is, we provide a budget that goes to the assembly. It goes through public participation. It is amended. Certain things are changed based on the input of the public and the county assembly. And therefore, when the budget finally is approved, it may not be exactly what the governor had provided for. So really, let's just be fair so that it doesn't look like this budget is drawn exclusively by the governor. And if we want to have a discussion on the budget and, the entire budget line by line, I think a better forum, should then be availed so that then we can have that discussion. So, Chair, I think let's just be fair in terms of what needs to be responded.
I think what Senator Cherargei was doing was that the query on budget and performance, it showed there were variances between what was budgeted and what was actually spent. So what he was trying to analyze is actually the financial statements that and linking it to that query, that maybe the expenditure was varied from the budget because of the the transactions that are listed here. So I think he was struggling to try and link that to the budget performance. But anyway, let me give him a chance to respond.
Chair,
and then
I think you have captured partly what I asked. I was just looking at the budget performance and control. And even I asked a basic question to the governor. Do we need hiring of consultancy services? You should have said we don't have a gynecologist, for example, or oncologist, and say that's the reason we pay. It is a simple question. So, Governor, Chair, what can happen if the governor would want to respond on budget priority that are on his own financial statements, and then the committee can write a letter to him. But my other questions the governor has avoided is even a simple question, revenue collection from Kapsabet all the way to Kaiboi hospitals, are they automated? Governor, do we need a meeting? I thought it's a yes or no, and which company is doing the collection? I thought that was a very fair question. And another question was why you are missing your targets in terms of revenue collection. And then number three, Chair, because we are on budget performance and control, is on the issue of priority. My question, Governor, the reason I was giving an examples of your own audit, and I know your fund manager is there, is I was asking, do we need to spend in your own financial statements, which is not generated by the Senate or OAG, do we need a priority of 13.1 million as opposed to 26 million that we are using to buy drugs? And then finally, Chair, Governor, the committee can write and request for details on those line-by-line budget. So, Governor, you are arguing before this committee in Article 229, Parliament shall consider reports from OAG. Then, Governor, why should we have this meeting if you can write written submissions and you don't need to appear before this committee? Because if we cannot ask clarification in consideration process to process our audit reports that will be tabled, then why should we have a meeting? Is it necessary? So if you can answer the 4 questions on the budget line, the committee can write, then you can respond. But can you respond on the issue of a collection of revenue, the target that you have missed, the issue of priority, and the issue of the automation? And I ask a very basic question. You and me know that, and Chair, it is on record, and it is on the audit report of 23-24, that you had most of your stalled projects are linked to hospitals. And I was asking, could it be the reason that you are conducting, because newborn mother and baby in Kapsabet is yet to be finished. Your own hospital, which is in Kobuja, is yet to be finished. Kapsengere is yet to be finished. Chepteruai is yet to be finished. And it is in the audit report, which is part of this consideration. And I was asking, could it be the reason why you are missing your revenue target and therefore affecting the budget performance, which is part of the audit query? So for the governor to say the issue of budget is not an audit query is misleading this committee, because one of the audits that are here is on the budget performance and control. So can he answer the questions, or if he doesn't want to answer, we can leave it at that.
Well, maybe I can give your point is well noted, Senator. Your point is well noted.
Chairman,
yes,
nobody has underplayed the importance of appearing before the Senate. But also, we could come here and we have a whole discussion on literally everything under the sun. It is possible. But I think for effective utilization of the time before the committee, the order has been that then you come and respond to audit queries. And that is my simple thing. I'm not saying that what he's asking is not, but get a forum for us to discuss those ones so that we have those details. But then if you discuss,
these are audit queries.
Why don't you listen?
This is on the audit report.
Yeah. Let him finish.
Unless the governor, sorry, Chair, unless I didn't get him right, I thought the governor has a benefit of the audit report. The questions I'm asking is emanating from the budget.
If the senator can spend more time listening, because he is speaking, and even when I am responding, he is speaking.
I'm active listener. And I think governor is taking this meeting casually. Because the questions I'm raising, to be fair, even members here, is I'm asking valid question, is our systems of collection of revenue hospital automated? Does it need a literary explanation, Chair?
Okay, let me direct this.
Yeah.
We have our fiscal analyst here. You are there.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the issue here is the query on budget control and performance. And the senator is trying to relate this to the financial statement. So we will ask you, because we need to make progress, to analyze what he has pointed out and then draw a parallel with that query of budget control and performance. Then the committee at report writing stage will make a decision on that matter. Because I'm saying we are going to spend a lot of time on this back and forth.
Chair, maybe with fiscal analyst, what is the revenue potential of Nandi? Under CRA.
Thank you, Senator. Through the chair, under CRA, based on the latest report they gave, that is a report on the year 2022, states that Nandi County, the revenue potential was around 4,353,000,000. That is based on that report. However, as a county specific, based on their target for the year under review, the target was 558,329,869, and they collected 307 million, which is appropriation is around 55% based on what their target and what they actually collected. Thank you, Chair.
That is the reason you know, Chair. That's why I was asking, because even when you look at the overall on-source revenue, they are still missing the target, just the potential. And maybe, Chair, so that we close that question. So does it mean Governor will not answer my questions? So that I leave it, I know how to answer.
No, I think what the governor is implying,
yes.
He had prepared to respond.
But Chair, let me ask you a simple. I have just asked, is our systems automated? Does it need to prepare? It is something basic.
Yes or no?
It's a yes or no. And then if you consultant services, I have asked, do we have oncologists, for example? He can say, no, that is the reason we hire.
Chair.
So it's simple.
Okay, let us allow him.
Chair, we can write a whole letter, then he can come and answer another day if that will assist him to answer.
No. Let us allow the governor to take quality time to give an explanation, and then we move. Because
so, Chair, I will respond to the issues that touch on our appearance here. On the question of automation, yes, all our revenue collection collection processes are automated. 2 consultancy services, we provide radiology services in Kapsabet. We do not have, radiologists and certain other consultants that we have to pay consultancy services for them to provide those services. So we have those categories of specialists that we do not have, that we have to outsource their services. In terms of the projects, the various projects that are ongoing within the county, FIF is not financing, the various infrastructure projects that are ongoing. They are being supported or they are being funded by the county budget. FIF largely targets the resources that are being raised within the hospital from the services that we offer, and the same money goes to the services and goes to supporting the continuity of those services. So there are no infrastructure projects like the ones that you have mentioned that are being funded by this. Chair, in terms of prioritization and budget, rationale, I think that is a discussion that we are happy to engage if the details are given in terms of what the senator wants to know, and we can be able to respond to those ones.
I think, Chair, the governor did not get me very well with a lot of intelligence. But Chair, I didn't mean that. I'm aware FIF does not fund infrastructure. I was saying these matters has been raised, and I was trying to tie up that could it be the reason you are missing revenue target by 41% in collection of revenue within the health facilities. I didn't mean that you are using FIF to fund, because we know the law. So that does it affect the performance of collection of revenue within the health facilities within Nandi?
No, it does not.
That's my simple question.
It does not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to make progress. As I directed, your issue that you have pointed out, we will allow the fiscal analyst to analyze it further and give us a report as a committee. Senator Mudam?
No, Chair, because you have ruled, I think I hear the frustrations of Senator Cherekai, but I think you should just direct that even if the governor was not ready today, you can respond back with a letter, can write back with the answers. Thank you.
We will wait for the fiscal analyst to give us a report, and then based on that report, then we can write to the governor. Senator Chimera, put yourself on record.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. Good afternoon, Governor and your team. My name is Senator Chimera, Senator from Kwale County, member of this committee.
Maybe before we end, we have a last query there, which members thought that they just need some direction from the governor on what the county is doing to address it. Lack of an internal audit function and audit committee for this fund. Governor, maybe you can tell us more about it.
So, Chair, the internal audit function was affected by a staff audit process that was ongoing in Nandi County, and we are saying that that internal audit unit would be serving the county, but also all the funds under being run by the county government, and therefore we are as I have indicated, the management is actively coordinating with Public Service Board to prioritize and facilitate the deployment of dedicated internal auditors, the auditor to the FIF section at the earliest opportune time possible. And going forward, the fund will rely on the expertise of the audit committee, which has been constituted at the county level.
Okay, Mark, I would like to hear from you. Your comment on that issue.
Yes, Chair. That one it's a requirement under the PFM that each facility has, each fund or each entity has its own internal audit function. But maybe, Chair, maybe the question then I would want to ask is if going forward the implementation of FIF Act 2023 may require the dissolution of this fund, maybe the governor may need to have internal audit function in each hospital, because then it will be an audit query in 24-25 if there is no internal audit in each of the facilities. And maybe the continued existence of this fund also may raise another audit query in terms of implementation of FIF 2023. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, maybe Governor, you see now, that's why we were saying at some point you may need to relook at this fund. Because if you are having an internal audit in every hospital, then again you have another one for the FIF fund. It is in itself very expensive. And because the law insists on that, it will continue being an audit query. So there are so many things that are pulling you to the fact that you may need to relook at the whole thing of county FIF and maybe just comply with the national FIF. Senator Cherege?
I think, Chair, in Governor, when was this staff audit? Which year? When were you doing staff audit?
Last year,
2024. And there is a public service report to that effect.
Yeah.
So my question is, this matter was raised two financial years ago in 22-23. 23-20, is it 23-24? So, and you know, these internal audit mechanisms play a critical role of oversight. So we are in August of 2025. Are there any minutes that OAG has seen with your intention of establishing an internal audit committee? Is there any minutes that has been considered and has been shown to the OAG for particular, because Chair, this audit is important because it plays oversight with the funds, that if it does this work, these matters cannot be raised or escalated to even OAG or even, and you know, this oversight should have even assisted CPA fund manager by looking at some of the lapses. So, Governor, before you did staff audit, is there minutes to show the intention of establishing this internal audit committee?
No, the internal audit committee is there. What was affected are the staff under the internal audit department function in the county, but the audit committee exists.
That there was lack of internal audit function and audit committee in your audit report. Are you aware of this existence of this audit committee? Because there should be minutes of them sitting, doing their job, their allowances being paid. I've seen 1.5 million. I don't know whether it's part of the audit in their financial statements. Through the chair.
Proceed, Governor.
It was to the OAG first.
OAG, please.
Because the governor has said it exists, but in your report you doubt the functionality and existence.
Chair, for this report, we were just pointing out that there is no committee for the FIF, but there is the main committee in the hospital. That's in the county, I mean. There is the audit committee, but for this one, there is none.
But through the chair, during your discussion with the entity, did you indicate to them the need to have the audit committee, and did they show any intention of even giving you minutes of meetings to establish the same committee?
We discussed about it during the audit, but we don't have any minutes to that effect.
So as of now, within the knowledge of your work, is non-existent. So Chair, I think the committee will deal with this matter when they are writing their report.
Yes. Okay, very well. So I think we proceed to the next fund, which is the Bursary Education Fund. Over to you, Auditor. You take us through the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Report of the Auditor General on Nandi County Education Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024. The first issue, Chair, is presentation and disclosure of the financial statements. The financial statements presented for audit was not page numbered according to the requirements of the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, whereby the page where the financial statement starts with page 29 instead of page 1. Thank you, Chair.
I think in our pre-meeting, honorable members, we said that the query on presentation and disclosure of financial statement and the query on misstatement of bank charges account and the query on misstatements in cash book be handled together, because they have an element of accounting inaccuracies and errors and such. So, Auditor, you can read
Thank you,
You can
Chair.
read the three queries,
Yeah.
and then the governor will respond to the three issues. Then members, you can now raise queries and comments. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next query is number 4, misstatement of bank charges account amounts. Note 12 of the financial statements disclosed bank charges amount of Kenya shillings 471 and 62. However, the respective schedules disclosed bank charges of Kenya shillings 474, 428, resulting to a variance of Kenya shillings 3,365 that has not been reconciled and explained. Further, no supporting document was provided to support the bank charges amount of Kenya shillings 471,062 as disclosed in note 12 in the financial statements. The next, Chair, is number 6, misstatements in cash books. During the year under review, the fund management prepared cash books. However, the fund did not provide the petty cash book and board of survey certificates for confirmation of bank balance. In addition, an analysis revealed that the management spent Kenya shillings 4,243,000 on administration costs, while the Excel cash book had a balance of Kenya shillings 3,645,790, leading to a variance of Kenya shillings 597,210. Thank you, Chair.
So, honorable members, the first query is about compliance to the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board in terms of numbering of reports. The second query, misstatement of bank charges. There was a small variance of 3,365 shillings in terms of the bank charges in the shillings. And then the last misstatement of cash book, it means there was a misstatement of cash book amounting to 597,000. So, Governor, maybe you can respond to each of those queries.
Chairman, under query 1, the management response is that the error arose during the final compilation and printing of the financial statements. The omission is highly regrettable and will not occur again. The financial statements hereby annexed under Annexure 1 is the amended one. Under 4, misstatement of bank charges. The response, Chair, is that the variance arose from a clerical error during the preparation of the supporting schedules, where the total bank charges was erroneously captured. The reconciliation has been undertaken to confirm the correct figure of Kenya shillings 471 and 62 as evidenced by the bank statement in Annex 3. And number 6, Chair, the misstatement in cash book. The management response is that the above documents could not be provided at the time because of the challenges occasioned by the staff audit. The petty cash book and the board of survey certificate has since been provided, and it is Annexure 5. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. Auditor, I would like to get your comment on the 3 responses.
Thank you, Chair. Number 1, on presentation and disclosure of the financial statements, management did not comply with the reporting templates as at that time. Then the next, on misstatement of bank charges amounts. Mr. Chairman, no evidence in the bank statements attached. Then finally, Mr. Chairman, number 6, misstatement in cash books. The Excel cash book was not accurate, and Board of Survey report and analysis cash book was not provided. Thank you, Chair.
Let me start with members of the committee first, and then I will go to the friend of the committee. Senator Kisang.
You know, Chair, what the auditor is saying, you know, after reading the question, the governor responded, and there are things the governor said they are already provided, and I thought the auditor was going to respond to what the governor said, but he has just repeated what he had said earlier. Because what he should have said then, they have already provided in this particular, when we told them to come to the committee, but you didn't receive the documents during audit. This basically leading to late submission of documents. That's what I thought it will come from the auditor, but he has just repeated himself.
Any other from
Chair,
committee?
With all tremendous respect, I don't know whether the OAG is the witness or the governor, but that is a story for another day. Chair, what the clarity I needed through the governor is Kamel here, the fund administrator. It's Kamel Cheruta Talam. Governor?
No, she's not there. She left.
So who is she standing? She was here with us. She was here with us, Governor. She's also sick, or what is happening?
Point of order, Chair. Chair, yes. I think in all due respect to the Senator of Nandi, his line of questioning, you know, I think he should allow the auditor first to respond to the concerns of the member.
Then, Chair, I also take offense. I was asking the auditor a question, and then the senator, who is a friend of the committee from Nandi, is asking who is supposed to be queried. The auditor also here needs to give us clarity. We are not relying only on the responses from the county. We also need the auditor to help the committee. So I take offense from what the senator from Nandi said.
Okay. Auditor, please respond to the senator from Elgeyo Marakwet.
Thank you, Chair. I'm saying that the presentation and disclosure of financial statements, actually financial statements cannot be amended once we are done with the audit. The certificate is out. That's what I'm saying. That management did not comply with the reporting templates. So that issue we can't resolve unless it's now up to the committee, because the financial statements were wrong done and signed.
I think you, Senator Cherigay was trying to find out which accountant signed. Can you check your records and tell us?
No, Chair, I think I was finding out where is Kamel Talam, is the fund manager.
That was the fund manager then, but
she
left
so
the county. Now we have a new fund manager.
What is her or his good name?
Kosgei, Nicholas Kosgei.
Or Nicholas Kosgei. So this Kamel left the county. The governor is not, she no longer works. So Chair, I know if you have seen, and I hope the committee has noted this, that there is competency and capacity, but there are so many errors, because presentation of financial statements, these are first year class of accounting. So Chair, now the immediate boss of SCAMEL was Chief Officer of Finance and Chief Officer of Governor. Who is the immediate boss of SCAMEL? Talam. Is it the CC Finance or the Chief Officer?
The Chief Officer.
Of Finance or Education?
Administratively Education, functionally Finance.
Chair, because I see these are the same errors that can be traced back to FIF when they were doing, because presentation of financial statement should be something. Governor, let me just ask a basic question. Do you have faith in the capacity and ability of your officers? Because looking at presentation and disclosure of financial statements, misstatement, and provision of documentation, do you have faith in the ability and capacity of your staff? Because you can see these small things, we should be discussing better things, as we have said. Do you have faith so that we don't waste a lot of time in the staff that work for you?
I have faith in them, but I also have faith in continuous improvement. So we have to continuously build and improve the capacity of our staff.
So if I ask you, with errors like the human error our brother talked about, presentation of disclosure, misstatement, are you willing to take administrative action against these officers for committing basic errors?
Yes.
Okay. I think the committee can take it from there.
I think, honorable members, we, as I said earlier, we have had this problem with not just this fund, we have had it with the FIF and even the other funds. And Governor, you promised that you are going to do an improvement. And CEC, you also promised us. So I think we do not want a repeat of this in the next engagement we are going to have for 2024-2025. Otherwise, the committee is still left with the decision to make as to what they are going to do to the accountants involved.
Maybe, Chair, in addition, would the governor be kind enough to report back on the administrative action he has taken against the said officers before you do your report writing, so that when it comes to the floor and some of us read who are friends of the committee, we can be easier to have the last view of the action that the committee will take. Thank you.
In the previous engagement we had for Nandi, I think we gave them an opportunity to go and reorganize the team in the finance. And that reorganization, I think we give them a chance to prove, so that in the next financial year, 2024-2025, if this recurs, then we will know that very little was done. And someone will face an administrative process. Mark?
Yeah, maybe to further improve on management and to deal with the misstatements. The query on misstatement refers to Excel cash book, so maybe if they're automated and we're able to use a software, some of these challenges will be addressed. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking that is the governor has agreed that he will take administrative action. So as a reporting mechanism, you should be able to write back as per your direction in our previous engagement, where you are directed that administrative action be taken. So what I was requesting and you are ruling is that you direct the governor to report back on the action that you gave the ruling, maybe in the next coming days. I'm not saying immediate today, so that when your report will come to the floor, as the area senator would be able to track on what we had discussed before this committee. Thank you.
Well, administrative action, many people think that administrative action is a punishment. It can also be training. It can also be reorganization. So I think in our interim recommendations, we can highlight that so that the governor can maybe in 30 days, you can tell us what administrative action you have taken.
Chair,
administrative action is not necessarily punishment.
No. Chair, some of us who did law, we beg to differ with you. Administrative, on a lighter note, it does not mean retraining on capacity building. It is taking the disciplinary action against the same member. And that is why even in our parliamentary powers and privileges, the administrative action that can be taken against the member is to apologize, to be punished, to withdraw, to be fined. So, Chair, the retooling and retraining does not capture, because the interpretation of administrative action in labor codes has been litigated on. But just that is for discussion, the terms of the interpretation of what administrative action is.
Oh, okay, let me rephrase it and say this. Let me rephrase it so that we don't appear like we are contradicting what we had said earlier. We said earlier that we will allow the finance department under the governor to reorganize himself through training or through getting the relevant qualified people to handle some of these assignments. And then they come back to us in writing about what they have done. I do not want to go into the aspect of administrative action because we have said the committee is going to make a decision on the issue of the accountants and section 62. Yeah, so I don't want to preempt what the committee is going to say.
I don't want to defy your ruling, but you know you are a very good neighbor.
Yeah.
Vihiga is neighboring Nandi. When you use the word that they might be unqualified people in office, I get worried. And you know, my people are well learned. In fact, among our subtribe, our community leads in most of the brilliant professionals. So I take an exception when you say, unless the governor confirms otherwise, to say they could be unqualified people in office, and therefore you are giving the chance CEC to get the qualified people. Maybe, Governor, you need to protect our county. You are leaving our county people to imagine that we have unqualified people in office.
But through you, Chair, the reason why the Chair is talking like that, Senator Chereka, is because there are many errors in the report, in the financial report. There are many errors. So these errors should not be coming. That's why the governor is talking like that. So if
so the governor,
if they are all that qualified, then where are the errors coming from, Chereka?
Yeah. So maybe, thank you, Senator Kavindo, through you, Chair, with the indulgence, can the governor confirm? Because do we have unqualified people in these offices, Governor? No, Chair, that is a very serious statement because the jury is outside there. Because your words are so serious and it goes to answer.
No.
That you have directed the CCM to go and reorganize and get qualified people. So the reverse of that statement is the unqualified people that are committing these errors.
You see, as we have seen, you remember in the other report we did,
yes,
when we asked who is the accountant who signed, most of them were qualified ISPAC members.
Yes.
Qualified. But in the previous presentation by CEC, he indicated that they have a shortage. So they will try to see how to manage the few people they have and see how they can be reorganized so that we do not have these issues happening.
So we agree with you, Chair, in my own interpretation, that these errors that we have seen in both FIF and Education Bursary Fund are professional misconduct because we have people who are qualified in office. They were just derelicting their duty. And I'm happy the governor has said he will take administrative action. And then the committee will also give direction on that matter. The governor has been on record. But for the purposes, we have so many qualified people from my county.
Let's leave it there because we have said we are going to make a decision.
But I can see the governor wants to say something.
Oh, come.
Don't block
Chair, the Senator of Nandi has made, I really agree with him, but he has made a good defense of the county. So, and our...
For once, the governor is smiling.
So I agree. We have qualified people. I think, as I have indicated, administrative action includes what you said as chair, but also what Senator Chimera and Senator Gerard have said. So we are properly guided, Chair.
Okay, let's proceed to the next query. Unsupported committee seating allowance, auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported committee seating allowances. The statement of financial performance reflects use of